welcome to the art exhibition on the critical point Wanderlust and Nostalgia in the New Age. This unique attempt brings together artists and visionaries from across the globe to explore the intersection of technology, memory, and human creativity. We're here to ignite cultural exchange, deepen the exploration of artistic visions, and foster transformative cross-border collaboration. This exhibition received an overwhelming response from artists worldwide. Over 300 works were submitted, showcasing diverse perspectives and artistic styles. After a thorough selection process, 48 exceptional pieces from 57 artists were chosen to represent the themes of wanderlust and nostalgia in the modern age. Throughout this exhibition, you will experience the fusion of Eastern and Western artistic techniques, and the exploration of wanderlust and nostalgia that transcends borders. Join us for an insightful roundtable discussion, where we will delve into how cultural and market differences foster cross-border collaboration between China and the United States. We invite you to immerse yourself in this journey of creativity and cultural exchange.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the opening of On the Critical Point, Wanderlust and Nostalgia in the New Age at Penn Museum, both online and on site. My name is Kine Arthur. I am the President and CEO of Asian American Chamber of Commerce of Greater Philadelphia, and we represent over 13,000 Asian-owned businesses here in Philadelphia area. It gives me so much pleasure to welcome the artists from China and United States to this exhibition, and to everyone that is viewing online and on site. Art is a universal language that connects so many people together. We don't need to speak when we're viewing art. We communicate through art. And as a fan of art myself, it is so heartwarming to see so many talented Asian artists here at this Penn Museum. And I hope you enjoy this exhibition and wish you all the best of luck.
大家好，首先非常感谢展览主办方的热情邀约，使我能够很荣幸的参加本次在临界点的这个展览。本来呢，我的绘画风格就是比较纯粹的东方文人画的传统审美风格，当然也在追求最高级的东方哲学内核在绘画中的体现，使一个小小的甚至简约的画面能够传递出较高的艺术品味和精神高度。那么把我的这种作品呢，忽然的纳入一个现代的国际艺术展览，自然的使这种作品赋予了一种神奇的反差和张力。一方面体现出世界文化艺术的高度融合性，同时又表现出在一定场域下各种艺术风格品类的互不相属和碰撞。东方水墨画的复杂性，西方人也许不能了解得非常深刻和全面，但并不妨碍人们认知作品中的人文主义情怀和艺术家的个性的彰显。并且如果稍加解读，就不难发现作品中也含有后人文主义的特征，比如山体、树木、石头，它的拟人化的表现和精神化，人与自然的关系不是征服掠夺，而是尊敬与共存。中国人的思想体系的矛盾和发展，不是激烈的斗争，而是平静的演化与和谐的共生。我想这是具有世界性的价值的。很遗憾，我没有亲自来到这个展览的现场，感受现场的氛围，参加这次展览的盛况，所以只能在遥远的中国南京祝福这次展览的圆满成功。谢谢。
诸位嘉宾朋友们，大家好，我是画家宋洪涛，很高兴受邀参加在宾大博物馆即将举办的临界新时代吕癖乡愁这样的一个艺术大展。正好呢，我有一些作品呢跟这个展览的主题比较贴近，比如说自然物语系列等等11件作品将会与大家面世，也希望这次展览给大家带来惊喜。也特别感谢还有别的一些优秀的艺术家为这个展览来助力。再次呢，感谢主办方与策展人诸多默默的付出，让我们一起来为这个展览助力加油， 祝福这个展览圆满成功，谢谢大家。
Before we continue, a special thanks also goes to this wonderful venue. So it's a Penn Museum. If we look around, and this is a Chinese Rotunda for this exhibition. Obviously, we can see the voice can be really loud in this area. It's really wonderful. And I would like to introduce a little bit about this venue. So this is inspiring 40 foot high Rotunda. You see it's pretty high, right? In the most iconic space of the Penn Museum. We also showcasing here 48 works by 57 artists across 8 countries. Wow, especially from China and the US. So excited. These contemporary art pieces are exhibited alongside Chinese cultural treasure, such as the famous 6 horses of the Zhaolin Mausoleum. It's really great. You can see these art pieces. It's all from like ancient China. And also creating a powerful dialogue between history and present. Our online exhibition is also live right now, so we can take a look at our QR code. We can see it's our simultaneous on the website. You can simply scan the QR code. Also, our friends on Zoom, you can scan the QR code. Let's have a look. Okay. Everyone can try to see the QR code and to see your phone. So that's wonderful about technology, right? We hope everyone, if you're still online, can also enjoy the exhibition from our QR code. Tonight, we are featuring the works by the artists Dominic Terlizzi, also Sher Lauren, Chenling Cai, and Tong Wang. Each of them will bring the unique blend of tradition and modernity to this exhibition's theme. I will invite our artists to introduce their art pieces for all of us. So first of all, let's warmly welcome Dominic to introduce your work. Welcome.
Thank you everyone who's been involved in this exhibition. It's an honor to be here. Clearly so much thought has gone into making this happen, so thank you for those. The 2 pieces that are on display tonight are made out of acrylic on canvas. They were made specifically with the intention of overlapping material qualities of paint with digital photography and video, which parts of it would become green screened and could be disappeared through a filtering of digital media. So in this kind of composition, you see fragmented digital things happening. There are found objects and materials from everyday life, like they're flattened and pixelated imagery. There's kind of like a fragmentation aligned in mosaic culture, kind of glitch culture, maybe some. We'll have to talk about that. That's the short and sweet discussion of it. Within this, you see a lot of colors that are mixed from primary colors, which I think is an interesting alignment with the physical material of paint versus the illuminated screens. And in this way, from basic primary colors, there's mixed color like an image, or every color of a radiant kind of sunset or a screen shutting down. Also, there's kind of hand-painted objects like an apple. And this one's called Teacher. And I'm thinking about like the idea of a teacher having interchangeable parts to suit your desires for your educational purposes at the time. For this one, I thought apples and oranges kind of line up with the idea of your humanness is connected through your ability to kind of compare things. So in the bottom corner, you've got apples and oranges. Some of those apples and oranges are missing as green screen patches. And throughout this kind of composition, you can then compare different things. For example, a slice of Wonder bread that's green, or a slice of Wonder bread that's totally brown. You've got 2 different eyeballs, which are actually the same eyeball. You've got a snowman made out of pizza breads. So there's a constant collision of synthetic material reading with kind of visual flat imagery. I really appreciate someone coming up to me and saying, hey, I like the image of the painting when I saw it online, but when I saw it in person, the texture like clicked. It makes my day. So thank you so much. That's my short, sweet introduction. Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, we can explore Dominic's work later in person. I think that side, right? Yeah, I remember your artwork is so colorful and really, really great joy. And with your introduction, we know more detail about your works. And now let's welcome Cheryl to introduce for us. Welcome.
An honor to be here with you today in this beautiful space. So thanks so much to everybody for inviting me. And I have been going around the country with my typewriter for the last 20 years and inviting people to dictate messages president, whichever president that might be. Since earlier this year, I've been having people write to the next president, and we're going to find out who that's going to be very soon. But people can write to whoever it might be. And in this show, I'm accepting cards from Philadelphia. I was typing on the streets of Philadelphia in August. And I will also be at the Free Library on Election Day from 11 to 3, if anyone wants to come by and take a postcard. And then also cards from New York. So I have actually been all over from Florida to Ohio and Chicago this year. So there's quite a few if you get a chance to come online. And I think that's the basics of this project. I really responded to the themes of Wanderlust and nostalgia, maybe for obvious reasons, but the Wanderlust, I'm traveling all the time, and the nostalgia, I'm working with a typewriter, which has some really nostalgic moments. So it's a really wonderful theme, and thanks for Oh yeah, that'd be amazing. You want to send the letter to your next president? Yes. How would you like to start? I guess that's what's good. Do you miss your president?
Perhaps it was so many people talking past each other that made this young woman stand up. She thinks that communication is an art form. We met Cheryl Oren in a public square with her family.
There's something about the typewriter that really draws people in, and also is a symbolic reminder of a different era when people took the time to write letters and listen to each other. I never cease to be amazed at the way people open up with me and tell me the most incredibly personal stories. When there's a typist sitting there listening to every word that the person in front of them speaks, it really gives that person the feeling that they've been listened to, that they've been heard. And I think therein lies the possibility of people making change. So Coach just say it has many influences. My grandmother was a secretary in the political science department at the University of Maryland. She always went to work dressed I've typed 4,106 postcards to 4 different presidents. These days, when we mostly communicate over social media, where we never meet the other person, there's something very human about the use of a typewriter. When technology has played such a destructive role in our society, we need a new form of communication, and we need to find a way of communicating that goes beyond the egocentrism that's implicit in Twitter.
As a daughter of immigrants, I still believe in the promise of democracy, and it's up to you to restore it, honor and respect the voices of all people.
It's quite amazing to witness how people respond to when they're listened to, and what many of them have told me is they're just understood. They're not used to being listened to. And I think we really have to change that. The future of our country depends on it. That's the critical thing to me, that people become actively engaged in their communities in making positive change with the voices that they have.
What a wonderful And now let's welcome Chen Tsai. Introduce your work. Welcome.
It's my honor to be invited to participate in this exhibition, especially in this venue, and such a great environment and atmosphere. Transport and start at this one now.
And so I want to introduce two pieces of my work. So let me simply introduce my background. So I came here in 2014 as a student studying Pennsylvania General Fine Arts from the second master degree. I got my first one from Tsinghua University, and my major is painting major. The reason why I want to come here is that I want to try to push my limit, trying to find something new or something unique to myself, because I'm used to be a So when I came here, I start to break through everything I'm familiar with, especially my painting style skills. And when I came here, I tried many different styles. But the more I try, the more I found something unique is come from my own culture, like China. So I start to find what the cultural elements I can use in my creation, art creation. And I start to notice something I don't like to do. When I was a kid, I was, my parents forced me to learn Chinese, like painting. I'm doing very well. I know the word as a kid, but I don't like it because it's something people force me to do. And then when I came here, and then I used to be an oil painter, and then I feel continue to paint like realistic painting. Skill-wise, I can getting better and better. But this is something what making me feel like I'm released. So I start to find something like ink brush and then all transient painting. I start to notice something like this is like in my gene now. So I practice so many when I was a kid. And then something probably from this direction is something what I can explore to find myself. And then you can see here I have two pieces of work. So let me introduce the first one. The right one is called the contemporary landscape. In Chinese it's called 今日景观. And this piece is inspired by a very famous Chinese painter. It's called Traveler about the mountain and bravery street. And so when I do this work, I start from a conversation with my friend. So I have a very good friend in China, my hometown. It's from Fujian, very south part of China. And my hometown have many manufacturing industry. And when I was a kid, I heard a lot of people talk about caves and they probably just get earth, right? In China, especially in the 80s and 90s. So the economic development is very high and rapid. People get rich, people have good together, but we still have to face the realities. Lots of people they get very good in insurance. prevent them from the occupational disease. So when I talked to my friend, he just told me, okay, he was late the day before the party. He said he just busy deal with like discard or throw away or destroy some of the X-ray films. I was just curious why you have to discard X-ray film, because like my understanding, people they don't take like X-ray scan randomly, right? This for purpose. He said usually every year in the hospital, hundreds or thousands X-ray image is thrown away. I said why? Because they said probably it's people the left, but mostly probably not. So I said, well, it's kind of I feel a little bit sad because the X-ray photo definitely is a record of people's body damage, mostly or their body condition. And then his hospital is nearby this kind of manufacturing industry. I said, well, you throw in people like something to them importantly to you, because the hospital has to do this because they don't have space to collect them. So I started collecting these X-ray photos, and then I started to find every individual is there. Miserable why? Because they have their body damaged, like a broken bone, and then they have a dusty arm. Yeah, and some people have some kind of very like strange bad schooling inside their body. So I'm thinking this story probably special, and I want to recognize that contribution, especially to this great country, China's economic growth. So I started with all these X-ray photos to here, to where I live now, and I started scanning them, and then recompose them as a digital collage, put them together, and then, for example, the chest part of the arm, right? That was as a bone, so probably create some new image. And I started putting them together and recompose the very famous the peak of the Trans-Siberian travels among the strength of mountains. Then start to use the ordinary individual their story to dialogue with the whole countries that they represent, right? So this is more like monumental their contribution. And then the second thing, as I just introduced, I'm only a painting major. In China, we have a painting major in specific. And then I stayed there, and then I wanted to make a painting. I didn't know what to use. And then I found, okay, I learned. So ink painting skill. So I thought probably I can try to put them together. And then before when I was in high school, I had a great interest in like biology and astronomy. And then later I decided to take art major because I think art is more cool and more brain. And then I started something to think about. Okay, probably I need to bring my experience, my memory, right? Something in myself, put them together. And I started to explore to make oil paint different. So I paint oil paint on like unusual surfaces. So usually we can paint oil paint smooth surface like a glass, right? So because it's too slippery, it's hard to make the paint stay. But I try to run the mix multiple medium and try to control their drying time. And one day I found I can make the oil paint different. And then the texture of the paint can simulate the cell structure just like under a microscope. And then my painting skill allowed me to make my painting growing art. So I use a multiple medium and put them together. I need to use a small like a note to kind of write down what time, what day I can apply this medium, how long is the period last. Because the different type of different medium I can apply on top can create different shape. So let's just like the line under on top the camera or the canvas. Usually I don't paint on canvas, I paint on the very smooth surface. And then I think, wow, that's something special, something like quite fit my interest. And also I try to explore the texture or the flow of the brushstroke to simulate Chinese ink painting. So every time I paint, it's not like simply use ink brush. I always take paint with the color, paintbrush with the color, try to write something. Everything I wrote, then I try to expand and change. So there's something like very similar to my experience. Well, I studied like Chinese culture. I came here when I was 30, but before I came to I studied in Beijing. I I stayed in my hometown from to 19, and then went to Beijing for 11 years. Now I came to here for 10 years. So this is three experiences kind of put together to kind of really shape who I am. And so this is why I should talk about my identity, who I am. Thank you.
Such a rich background between China and the US, global citizen, wonderful journey, and we can enjoy Mr. Tsai's work later. And now let's welcome Hong Wang to introduce your work. Welcome.
I guess maybe.
Yeah.
Actually, Sherry, I just saw your art today. I actually watched a video last week, and I rewatched it again. It really touches me, and the moment I just feel because fuck, I'm going to cry. I'm sorry. sorry about that. Because I went to New York University for my master's degree. I was majoring in contemporary art and social practice. So. However, the program was only last 1 year. 1 year is enough for you to become a great social practice artist. So it's hardworking. Like I'm reading, like writing 12 a.m. every night. My teachers were amazing people. So, but however, after a year, before I graduated, I told my professor I decided to transit to digital media design, which is UX design and visual design. That's where I'm working right now. I work at Amazon as a senior visual designer at a full-time job, and the fine arts my part-time job. But I remember the day before I transited to the other program, I talked to my professor, and she told me, just transfer to another program. I fully support you, but I feel very shameful. But I did because what she said was like, just go to digital media design, and then do social justice, and then bring your dream, your social responsibility to the digital media world. So I always keep that in mind that one day I can do some art. So my art. I feel the primary difference is that because I'm a commercial designer, so when I work as a visual designer, every single day I consider my customers and the people. So basically, I use myself. One of my job is a social media designer. I design many posters and visual designs every day. And at the end of the day, I will go to the data, analyze, and watch people. This design have 3,000 views, and this design have 20% engagement rate impressions. And if it goes down, I will start analyzing why it goes down. Or maybe the colors are not beautiful, the content is so boring, so people don't want to watch that. So my job is analyzing people's behavior in a psychological and cognitive science way. That's the reason why when I do fine art, I only want to do what I want to do. I don't want to worry about people. If you don't like my art, every customer is beautiful. Every customer is beautiful. Like, people come from different culture and background, they will pick different art they like. So this is private. This is a personal decision. So when people come to me, they don't prefer my art, they don't like my art, it's really understandable. But I just only want to do what I want to do. So when I do art, I'm fully self-centered. But when I work, where I'm working, I'm fully human-centered and customer-centered. So for these two pieces of art, the first one in Nightmares in the Sea, this is actually come from my dream. When I was in junior school, I was a very bad student, but I have a tiger mother, and she always wanted me to be successful, a straight A student. So every night I have the dream, I'm standing in the sea, it's very dark, and all the giant fish swimming by me, like the giant fish octopus, and I was fully scared, very scared. I have that dream for 3 years, like you just said, I'm not exaggerating, really, like I dream in that kind of scene every night. And yeah, but actually this artwork I finished 2 weeks before this exhibition, because I haven't done this like a large scale for a long time. So I just want to show people my journey, how I transit from classic way from a classic Chinese artist to a modern Chinese artist under the American education, applying American approach to do Chinese art. The second art I did very early, that was early 20 when I was in college. I went to Crossroads VSDesign for my bachelor degree. I was majoring in illustrations, so it's like a little bit illustration style. First of all, I want to say thank you to my husband. He's here today. So, yeah, I'm homosexual and very proud of who I am. And so, this early work, I was early 20, and imagine that like I'm an international student. My English is not good, but New York is a wonderful, wonderful world. You will interact with many interesting, creative, good people, bad people. So, especially when you were very, like, I grew up in Chelsea because I live on the west side for a while. So I hang out with like many friends in Chelsea. So basically, this art is during the time I was start dating as a gay man. And during the moment, there are many topics was thrown to me, such as disease, HIV, because you live in that world. But the good part is like people want to help you and educate you. And when I'm with friends, people tell me like to protect yourself, some topic like that. So, however, I was still scared because when you talk about disease, you just feel like, wow, this is an uncertain world. You want to protect yourself. In the meantime, you're afraid of disease. However, I do want to say HIV is not a scary disease. Like today, there's so many treatments that people who are HIV positive, they can live very healthily, like they're the same beautiful people as everyone. But that's not my point tonight. It's like when I was doing this art, that's what I tried to say. Many marginalized people, we think they're different from us, but I want to speak for them. We're equally beautiful. So these colors represent my ideas. I feel like it's passionate. Even for people, this small group of people, they're very special for the majority of people, but everyone is equally beautiful. That's what I try to say from this piece of work. Speak a little bit about my journey, because I came here when I was 8 years old. Even though, like, I am Chinese, I'm very proud Chinese artist, but however, I studied Western art when I was in school. I started art when I was 3 years old, because most kids started art at 3 years old. However, when I was very young, I told my parents I wanted to become an artist, but my father, he was very serious. He was like, okay, if you want to become an artist, you need to become a great artist. Like, that's Chinese parents. If you want to become an artist, you become like top one artist. So I grew up in Wuhan, the Hubei province of Wuhan. So my father, he found me a teacher, is a college professor. So actually I was studying sketch, gouache, oil painting. They're all Western art. They're not Chinese art. That was struggle. I do understand during the very early time, all the Chinese artists were struggling because we don't have brandings, we don't have strong marketing as American. So we want to build a bridge to communicate with the Western world. So during that time, I was born in 93. So in the 90s and early 2000s, we all know that Chinese artists want to communicate with American. We want to communicate with Western artists. That's why we are all obsessed with Western style. That's why in my early work, I was all like doing like a Western style art. Until I come to America, there was the first time my education background really helps me to understand contemporary art. That's how I grew up as a Chinese artist. I always tell people like, I am made in China and assembled in America. Thanks to education. That's what I want to share with you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Wow. I find something in common because Wang Cheng and Chen Ling both mentioned you guys have a tiger mom or tiger parents, right? That's like like basically, if you see excellent Chinese people, like my mom is also our tiger mom. So yeah, now we've come to the panel talk session. So the topic is very interesting. We talk about the cultural crossroads, exploring art and its market dynamics. We both talk about we pick up a lot of history and knowledge in China, but we shape ourselves in US and give us a lot of different mindset. So in this panel talk session, we will explore how art can act as a bridge between US and China and different cultures, and how artists can navigate the unique dynamics both in Chinese and US art market. So now, let's welcome our esteemed panelists come to the stage, and you guys will sharing some wonderful stories. So let's welcome Dominic, okay, already here, and Cheryl, welcome. And our panelists can share your story, and also welcome Wang Chen Ling Cai, also me. All right. So here's a little microphone. The first question is a very interesting question. So today's theme is Wanderlust and the nostalgia. So how this topic manifests in your own works, and how do they resonate with the target audience, both from the US and maybe from China or other country? So who wants to start this question first? Maybe Dominic? Yeah.
So I would say that I had an experience in China, arriving at the airport and walking out hungry for a snack and finding something called Snyder's of Hanover pretzels, which is from Pennsylvania. And I cast them in acrylic in a painting. And I had this full circle connection where the universality of bread items and the items I cast and put into my paintings are truly about globalization and how these objects and items are ever present, and every cultural space has some sort of cracker, bread, a pita, something. And when I was in China, I was really interested in figuring out how my work connected and was being connected to. So that pretzel mattered to me. And I found it only by wandering and searching in China. So that's
Which city? Curious.
Shanghai.
Oh, Shanghai. Oh, I come from Shanghai.
Oh.
It's such an international city, right?
No, absolutely.
Yeah. So which part is your favorite about Shanghai?
French concession school. I like the neoclassical buildings. The Bund was amazing.
Yeah.
I also happened to have some time to travel with my partner, which was amazing. Actually got engaged in China, which was amazing. But I was there on behalf of PI Art Center. I'm the director of an international school, and I see every day what we're talking about tonight is international globalization and everyone wanting to come to the table and speak visually or speak through their art, even if they're lacking the language skill or developing language skills to find a way to connect. The connection is made immediately through visual art. It's inspiring every day. I love seeing it happen, and it keeps me really motivated and hopeful for humanity, that there's a very human thing that happens through every art maker and every artist, no matter where you're coming from. There's a way to speak universally.
Universal language, yes. Cheryl?
Anyways?
Oh my gosh, so many stories.
Yeah.
Just everything. Since you talked about wandering and discovery, it made me think about when I first went to Berlin. And I discovered this place called Babelplatz, which was the site where the Nazis burned quotes. And that became a place that I went to over and over again to sort of reflect on what had happened there. And that led to one of my first really big projects. It's called Writer's Block, which I didn't show today, but I made these sculptures out of hundreds of typewriters that were caged into these sculptures that referenced the book burnings, and really it was meant as a tribute to the writers whose books were burned. And that led to my whole career and where I am today. So it's amazing sometimes what can happen when you just look at a new place and experience it.
So continue what I just said. I think the turning point is when I was I was 21 years old. So when I started at Parsons School of Design, I was still doing classic art, because when you do illustration, graphic design, you do apply a lot of classic art, because they are It's a little bit judgmental, but classic art is easier to understand contemporary art. So, but for graphic design, like when we watch a movie, we always want the audience quickly understand us. So classic art is necessary from a marketing perspective. So the 21, I went to upstate New York. I went to a program called, it's in the Chautauqua Institute. It's a kind of like a summer camp. And that was the first time I met with 50 artists. They're all like American and local artists. That was the first time I learned, seriously, I learned contemporary art, like American modern art. So it was very difficult because I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to do this. I want to continue to do beautiful classic art. I don't want to do contemporary art. I don't understand what I'm doing. But however, I told myself, Tom, that's why you come to America. That's why you want to study here. You're an international student. Your job is learning, to understand different culture, to become a global citizen, to learn art. So I open my heart. I communicate with all local artists to truly, fully. It takes a very long time, years and years, for me to really understand American culture and American art. But that was the turning point. I opened myself. I told myself, you need to embrace modernism. So I think what I learned the most is like freedom and follow your voice in your heart, what you really want to do. So when I was very young, I always dreaming one day I will become next Monet, next Van Gogh. But right now, I only want to be Tom Wong. That's what I learned. Yeah, that's what I learned from American contemporary art.
Yeah, that's great. Wow. Yeah, thanks for sharing your daydreams. It's also.
So what I want to share is like travel or living in different countries or different cities really shaped my experience. Because as I just said, I left my hometown when I was 19, and before 19, I thought everything just like okay, just have fun, play basketball. I know this is everything like a boy like every day hang out with friends. But I studied in Tsinghua University. So in China, if you want to study in Tsinghua, you have to be best in the best, the student. And I'm lucky enough, I went into the Tsinghua University, and then so in Beijing, the metropolitan city in China. So I start to have a culture shock because everything I understand is totally different, and people have a more diverse lifestyle, understanding, and value. And then after I stayed in Beijing 11 years, and I came to United States, another culture shock. So something what I understand, I know about United States is not 100% similar, other than the same. So I want to say especially that the
very important part is to listen to the voice, just like Wang Chong mentioned, listen to the voice and understand the new culture. And talk about this, I want to have a special question to Cheryl, because we know election day is around the corner, and your artwork, I wish to say, so the new interpretation of your artwork, I wish to see. Any news or from your artworks you want to, any new messages?
I was just down in Florida, typing messages at the University of South Florida in Tampa. Well, in St. Petersburg, actually. The main branch is in Tampa. And the thing that people kept talking about really over and over was wanting to find a way to get along. That was a repeated message. And I think that's so important today as we're in this period of heightened difference and conflict, that we do find ways to learn from each other and really respect each other. And those were messages that came from the students, and for me, really rang true and felt important. And it will be very interesting to see what happens in the next couple of days.
Yeah, fantastic. Because my major is marketing, so different target audience have different voice. Yeah. So it's fun, you listen to the students, listen to the adults, and different people from Tampa or New York City. People all have different voice and ideas. That's a fascinating part about the voice in your artworks, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. So and it was interesting. I did, so I do speak German, and I lived in Berlin, and there was a news reporter that wrote about this in a German publication.
So I recently moved to Washington, D.C. 4 months ago. Because of my job, I relocated here, my Amazon job. So, okay, so there was one of the primary reasons is because there's a Chinese restaurant called Cheng Cheng, and they have a special dish. It's called hot spicy noodle. In my hometown Wuhan, we call it 热干面. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna move to Washington D.C. because they have the food. Even in New York, you don't find it, the hot spicy noodle, but you can find it in Washington D.C. So I was like, this place gonna make me feel like I'm in home. So like, even though I feel like I've been living in America for a long time, I almost feel like I'm half Chinese, half American, but still something that embedded into my DNA, into my gene. That's like calling me go home. And so, yeah, that's what I want to say. And also, speak of like Chinese art and American art, I feel I am a Chinese, but I never think about, when I'm creating art, I never think about I'm a Chinese artist or an American artist. I'm just doing what I like to do. I have a friend opening a Chinese restaurant in New York, and she said, we never change our food. We just cook like a regular, normal Chinese people. But people like our dishes. So that's what I learned from her. I'm not struggling my identity. I just continue to do what I want to do. Either I am Chinese or a global citizen, but all I feel just like grateful, both American audience and the Chinese audience like my art. Yeah.
Great.
Something what I want to share is simply to share my experience. So I'm a painter, also I'm a mural artist. So when I came to Philadelphia, I was so fascinated by Philadelphia mural. It's the capital of the mural in the United States. I'm sure they say it's the capital of the of the world. So, and then I traveled around the city, and then I found Philadelphia had more than 4,500 murals. And then we only have less than 20 represent Asian culture or directly represent Asian culture. So I just start to feel, wow, this is something probably wrong because I'm sure the Asian population is not that low, so I'm sure our culture is underrepresented. Mm-hmm. And I start to make some murals to work with the different business restaurant, and then try to promote the Asian culture. At first I don't. Because before I came here, I did many murals in China. I don't plan to continue because I said I try to find something new. And then I start to notice I have the responsibility, I have the skill to make a mural to promote Asian cultures. So I keep making multiple murals. Last year I made the landmark mural for Philadelphia Chinatown. I'm not sure whether you saw the 21-story high, the frame mural. This is my mural project. So it's a new landmark for Philly Chinatown, also a new city, name card for Philadelphia. And then this year we make a mural project from DC Chinatown to Philly to New York Chinatown. I just done my New York Chinatown murals, and it's a project for New York City Department of Transportation. So to me, I really want to kind of just like what you said. I want people to know who I am, who I was, who I will be. And then, so another story is when I graduated from PAFA, Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, I asked the school to put my name in the right way, how the Chinese people call me, so on top of my diploma. I know that would cause some problem if I go back to China, use the diploma, people don't recognize, this is not your name. So I tell them to call me Cai Chenli. This is what my real name, what I just want to share. When I was a kid, I don't like who I was, right? Because something is not my real me. But when you, in the new environment, in face some new situation, you start to realize something, who you was, something is who you will be. It's near you. So this is something why I keep making. So in my art making, in my mural project, I continue to do, promote the culture, who I represent. Thank you.
Thank you. Please press the button. please share this. Yeah, longing and belonging. How longing and belonging like really motivate and inspire your. do you have any say? Like
We are in Philadelphia, and I was the dean of the School of Art at University of the Arts, and I began my typing tour on August 15th on South Broad in front of the UArts building. You may know that it was closed. It closed really suddenly with like 1 week notice this summer. So every time I come down Broad Street, there's this feeling of longing and sadness, based on all of that happened. And yet, I wouldn't have been able to do all the typing that I did this fall had that not happened, because I've been traveling, not quite nonstop, but a lot since August. And otherwise, I was planning to be doing it mostly only in Philadelphia. So there's this mixed feeling of, it gave me some possibility, but also a lot of sadness and longing.
Okay, for longing and belonging, I would say I would align with this conversation about how I feel very fortunate to currently be in New York. I feel very fortunate to work in the international environment of the Art Center. And when I left New York after going to Cooper Union, I longed to get back to New York every single day. And I would go back and forth between the cities. I lived in Baltimore, and I love Baltimore too. But there is something about the truly international environment of New York City that is so vibrant and alive. It has so many galleries, so many exhibitions, so many conversations. And you can go out for a drink, and you're actually going to run into other artists at the bar, and you're going to hear about what they're making, why they're making it, what they're thinking, what they're struggling with. And it's back to this conversation of like people who want to say something out in the world find a way to do it. And it's like so energizing. It's like, yeah, I long and belong in New York, but I also do miss my family and my home in Maryland. And I'm closer now than usual, and it's nagging at me that I should go home and say hi to mom.
That's great. Sometimes sadness can really help you inspire your artwork. And now let's talk about different art market, the Chinese market and the US market. In terms of commercializing and audience reception, what's the difference between Chinese art market and US art market? Let's start from Dominic, since you've been to China before.
So I'll say I've been to a few locations in China, and the first thing I do when I arrive somewhere is I think, where are the artists, where's the art? And part of it is thinking like, where do I belong in the conversation that's happening? And so the same way there's a wanderlust and a desire and a conversation happening here in the United States in this gallery, I also am interested in like what China's doing and where the arts are happening. So I actually had my friend take me to Ai Weiwei's studio and knocked on the door just to say hello, like how's it going? I went to, 789 Gallery District, Power Station, Arts Museum. And the thing is, I find that there's an international thing happening where a lot of works present at a certain professional level with a certain type of frontal branding, which is approachable, and I could access it very, very, very well. But I'm more interested in markets that are counterculture, underground, developing, disorienting, and creating new genres, new spaces, new conversations. I want to find not just the big galleries, but the small gallery run by artists. So I'm also a co-director of Tiger Strike Asteroid in New York City, which is an artist-run gallery. And those are the spaces that are the true heartbeat of what's happening there, what's going to be.
Great research. Sure.
I'm the best person on this panel to answer the question.
Have you been to China before?
I have not been to China.
Do you want to go?
I do.
Any chance you can go? Which city you will choose? Which city?
Well, why do I have to choose?
Oh, that's right.
Let's go to all of them.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I would choose one. I would want to do a tour.
Yeah.
That would be the most amazing. Or spend some time. So much amazing history. So yeah, I would love to know. I think that the work that I do would be really fascinating in the Chinese context because I'm dealing with issues of censorship and free speech. So there might be some things that we would have to be careful about.
Yeah, definitely.
And consider where it's presented and how it's presented. But on the other hand, I think it also has a very of the people feel. So I'm not certain how it
have one suggestion, like instead of directly to, we should say in China, and maybe we can do that in Chinatown. That's a good idea. More freedom, you can see that. Let's do that in New York City.
That's right. Well, I did it. I was in a historic park in New York City, which is really close to Chinatown, and have a lot of Chinese participants. So that was amazing. Maybe I'll turn it to you.
Oh, thank you. Actually, I'm not. I have like similar. What I want to say actually the same. I'm not very familiar with like art marketing, so I'm not. So what I'm sharing right now is probably not very reliable. But however, being responsible, I just have some thoughts to share with you guys. To be honest, right now it's like so China opened the door. Actually, America and China, we both open the door to each other, and there we see more and more international students coming to study here. And that's I feel because I went to Parsons School of Design, so I know that I have many friends. They study contemporary art in the States, and they bring American art. Actually, the most important is not American. It's not like American or Chinese art. It's more like the concept, right? We talk about contemporary art. So many Chinese artists bring the contemporary art back to China, and what I want to say is like in these days, in 2024, probably in the future, I feel contemporary art become more and more similar between China and America. People actually value the same. The art format may be always different, sculpture, fine art, and the 2D, 3D, but however, the concepts are always the same. We value love, we value creativity, and we also value freedom, the voice, especially for younger Chinese generation. Everybody is very independent. Everybody understands the core meaning of contemporary art. So I feel like for the marketing, especially, I will definitely give you to next time we're in China. So I went to contemporary art gallery in China. These days, I almost cannot see. This is just my personal opinion. I cannot see differences between American art or Chinese art because all I can see is modernity, creativity, and diversifying, colorful art. Yeah.
Thank you. What I can share is like since I'm an artist, also I'm an educator, and I teach a lot of students, and then kind of my experience, like all my feelings about the difference between the China and American art market is like all the foundation here and China compared to the time where I belong to, because I born in 1984. It's a bit different because here, like the kids, the younger generation, they have like friends from the diverse like ethnicity, like from different race, different culture, a lot more than the kids or the younger generation in China. So they start to have the sense to understand and appreciate the difference between each other. So this is something like what I want to share. Like it's a little bit different, but for sure, like don't want to say like in China, like younger generation start to more welcome like the different culture, more understand each other. The trend is getting better, and it's like what I said, what you said, like getting similar. But still like here, because people they will hang out in the different kind of art event. They will buy the small like art collections and to support local artists, support young artists. So this is something like in China, the art market, what we want to learn or what we want to be happened in China. So the more people support art, the more the artists can have more like like environment or the market for them to survive, for them to continue, for them to exist.
Thank you. And now let's talk about what are the key challenges and opportunities for international artists working both cultural backgrounds. We'll start first. Maybe one point is that.
Oh yeah, I think I'm like so qualified to answer this
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
So the answer is very simple. It's very hard. That's why I become a designer. So yes, I do. So being honest, I feel being an artist is very struggling because I just being very genuine and honest here because I do want to do fine art, but however, there are not many galleries can sponsor international students like me. Like I do need to consider some realistic like challenges. For example, I need a working visa, I'm an international, and I need a green card, so I do need to work for big corporate companies to have those experiences. They usually have better loyalty and resources to support international students. So I do feel like that's the challenging part for international artists in the States. But also there are more. But also I want to encourage more artists. Like there are some other options. You can apply for a special talent visa. The U.S. government is also very welcome and open to international artists. You can apply for a special type of visa that can support you. I'm just being very constructive here. And then, on the other hand, I do want to say overcoming cultural barrier. Cultural barrier actually is more difficult than language barrier. For example, music, right? Like we don't need to speak language in music, but people understand emotion. But cultural barrier is very difficult to overcome. But especially to understand. Even though I feel like humans are always the same, like what I said, we value the same emotions, we have the same values. But however, speaking of cultural barriers, definitely like American way and the Chinese way are very different. Sometimes we have different interpretation for the same thing. But I do want to say, if you, as an international student, if you want to find your way in America, you need to work hard. You need to work hard to study American history, American culture, to make friends with local artists, to understand what American value. And also, but the fact is, I interact with many artists. Artists are the best group of people over the world. They're kind, they're creative, they're beautiful. I interact with many local artists. They're always very welcome. They're also curious how Chinese people do art. They always welcome me. They also share their genuine and honest opinion with me to support me, to guide me how to become a good artist.
Yeah, I guess artists use the universal language, which all artists can appreciate each other's work.
Yeah. So this point, because I have the same struggle as well, because since I came here as a student, and then, but I want to say nowadays the whole world, right, including China and United States, all the other countries, the art market looks more and more similar. This is a new trend, this kind of pop culture, popular culture is kind of really influence different the artists from the different art market. But if you want to stand out from this new trend, you need to be yourself. You need to find something special. All the artists have this kind of challenge. So my experience to share is don't try to find something unique, from your culture, from your understanding. People will understand it, but of course, in the very beginning, it's very hard because something unique, something very special, means it's not that well recognized. If you don't insist, if you don't keep pushing yourself, if you don't making new works, try to make you to get more exposure, it's hard to continue. And then I know that this experience to many artists is very struggle, especially you have the question or the challenge about a visa, your status, right, legal status, and then income, something. It's hard to continue. But what I believe is if this thing is very hard, that means there's no opportunity to most of the people. But if you insist, if you make your way, you will make your own opportunity. So this is how I've been through, because I stay here and then I get my extraordinary alien green card. So as an artist. So I know this process is very hard. My wife, she know how hard, and I keep working for this for 10 years. But I don't want to make this as my purpose. I want to make this as my the consequence or the result of my work. I keep making my art to promote the culture I represent. I understand, making my painting, showing galleries, no matter it's sell or not sell, just keep making, because people can see your effort. If you try and then quit, for sure, that's easy to quit, but it's hard to insist. But if your people see you keep existing, keep making new work, keep have your work showing different venue, galleries, you will get. People will pay attention. People will notice you. Oh, this is something that keep insist for many years. So this is something why I want to say, if you want to be an artist, especially find artists, right? Because find artists, you're making work for yourself, and people pay money to buy your own idea, right? So this is something as artists really hard. But if you enjoy, if you really want to be somebody, right? Yeah, you have to spend your effort. But I know sometimes people have many like challenges because so many international students they cannot stay here because they have to face they don't have legal status to stay. But if you plan ahead when you start in school, right, start to do something differently, do something for your future. Yeah. Don't try to think about it's valuable or unvaluable because who knows, right? But if you don't try, you never have the opportunity. But if you try, opportunity is coming. Thank you.
We have to believe ourselves. Okay, now the question goes to Cheryl and Dominic. The question is, with your experience in exhibiting the work globally, so what insights can you share about navigating the global art scene and making a mark in different cultural environments?
That was great. Sorry, thanks. Borrowing from...
Yeah, let me check the green light. Let's see if the green light is on. Yeah.
Okay. Borrowing from this kind of operation of your work with person to person, I really think even if it's international exhibitions, as I'm going to Sweden and meeting a gallerist from Italy in Sweden, trying to figure out how my work can be situated and cared for by a Swedish audience. It truly is person to person, that gallerist believing in my work and me believing in that gallerist, and then each person that comes to the opening understanding who they are and how they're relating to the work, and then trying to translate the review in the Gothenburg Post, and trying to figure out how was it actually received, and then understanding this non-standard approach, making something that is not expected, often stands out. Maybe it's collected, maybe it's not, but it lives in memories and it can be written about. And there's a mark that's made that way. And I would argue that in the small moments, it's like we're slowly building culture, and we're slowly building culture amongst many cultures. And we're doing that as well tonight. So I would say, as much as it's overwhelming and international coming to the United States and exhibiting here, it's just human beings. It's just people. And if you can meet them and talk to them and understand their vision, and your vision aligns, there's nothing that can stop you, honestly.
Yeah, humanity and we call it consumer behavior. You understand people's emotion, put that in artwork, make that works out. Sure.
Absolutely. So I totally agree. And I was just thinking back to when I moved to Berlin and didn't really speak German that well, and some of the things that you both said really resonated and made me think about that time for myself. And one of the things that really made a difference was just meeting other artists, and usually people are very generous and help me with language, help me with culture, help me with context, and figuring out how to get things done. And then also Berlin was similar to New York in a sense, like very international. So I met not only German artists, but artists from all over the world, and they remain friends to this day. And so I think making those connections is really important. And then I was thinking also about what you were talking about with Chautauqua. So residencies have also been really important for me. And again, it's about meeting people and connecting with people, and people will help or invite you to do things, and that's it's a really genuine and lovely way to kind of get your work out there, but with a really human approach.
So listen to people, listen to their voice, and make more friends, and they will guide you to the culture, to the amazing artwork. So now we open the Q&A session. Any question from our audience? Please raise your hand. Let's see. Great chance. Oh, great.
Thank you for sharing your beautiful arts today. As a Hispanic American that has always had an issue trying to find my identity, it's very beautiful to see so many people search for it in different ways. My question to anyone who wants to answer is, I feel sometimes nostalgia can be dangerous. Do you feel that nostalgia can be good or bad?
Nostalgia. Yeah. Who can answer this?
Absolutely, it can be dangerous. So, there's that fine line, right, of you need to have the critical, I would say for myself, you need to have a critical view, while taking some of the qualities that are still relevant or still beautiful, I guess. I'd love to hear other.
I would say nostalgia. So it's kind of connecting to the your past memory and history, and then kind of your understanding. But I want to say future is coming, right? But future means we have more possibility, but sometimes some possibility or some new technology kind of make people get lost. When I was kid, only thing I can do is reading or just play basketball. But now my student, younger generation, they have so many attractions from the online or from the interview. But sometimes it's hard for them to focus on doing one thing, compared to my when I was kids. So sometimes if they need to have more understanding about something, rather than now and just a past, right? But if we don't just kind of make our connection to our past memory, history, something like a nostalgia or something back to the old time, it's hard for them to kind of probably they cannot root it, right? It just really make something we call in Chinese we call the 脚踏实地, learning, because people think the future is coming, we have more something new, so we probably don't need to do the hard working. We're just waiting for the new technology to take care of our new job or now. I think it depends, right? So new technology for sure I like it, but if you really just because we also talk about what's the danger in the future, people just without everything AI or the technology or the robot, and what can we do, right? Thank you.
You passed again. I'll try. I love this idea of nostalgia being, did you say dangerous?
Yeah.
Yes.
I also maybe use the word intoxicating. As you get in that sweet nostalgia, you're this longing and feeling of something that's not there anymore, which I think also aligns with the upcoming election. People are talking about something being great again. It's that's a nostalgia kind of parameter. I would say that I don't think that all of language has been broken down into all its little slices of pie of how we can express ourselves. And that yes, there are always new materials, new ways of paint being created, new dry times, new materials, new surfaces, or whatever the medium may be. Yes, there's AI, yes, there's all these other technologies. But there also was video for the first time. And everybody was painting is dead. Video. So I'm just a reminder. So I'm nostalgic for that moment where everyone said painting is dead, but it was so alive. And I think it's alive because of the human that makes it. And I think there's always going to be a need to see things that we make, and I think there's always a way for technology to be involved. And I think it's not a zero-sum game. And I think even in I was looking at some of the work tonight, the video of the 3D scans of buildings, and I was nostalgic for other places I've been. And it's an amazing, alluring sensation. Maybe dangerous too, because it's not actually here. It's an imagined space. Anyway, what a great question. That's great.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Yeah. Adding on to that, actually, as a marketer, I would say nostalgia is a great opportunity because, some brand like Jellycat, a lot of adults try to buy Jellycat. Why? Because nostalgia. People want to bring the childhood memory, and I think if, as an artist, you can find a great way to resonate with your target audience, use your new technology or your artwork. It's a great opportunity to make more collectors buy your artworks, right? That's a very. Any other question? Come on, grab the chance.
Maybe a little. Maybe I have mentioned in my speech before. Maybe you have noticed. Maybe you haven't. That doesn't matter. The question is, do you think how can we adopt the new technology to fight the social cultural gap? The most obvious example is the AI. The AI translation. We can take advantage of AI to translate the different cultural aspects. This is the most pervasive example, but there are numerous other examples in the future. But I see most museums or most libraries haven't yet taken advantage of it. take advantage of these technologies like the manuscript library still using the paper forms of and some specialists even claim that the manuscript studies are dead because of the computer technologies. However, as someone prefer to record the manuscript and record the art creation from scratch, but how can we let the specialists know from that? Do you understand my question?
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Can you rephrase it? Just the
last part. The last part. Question.
Just because some kinds of technologies are very helpful. I think it's very helpful to some aspects in the art research, like for example the manuscript research. Maybe you know the study of the art, how art is created by artists. But I know there are many technologies that can be helpful. But how can that art specialists know that can be helpful?
So just to rephrase, I think you're saying how can new technology and tools like AI be helpful for artists? And
not only AI, but also so many different types of technologies can be helpful.
Well, thank God I can pass.
Yes, I think that's a very good question. So I have another metaphor. So I remember the last episode on the Netflix new show Three Body Problem. And yes, so they did say that they are coming. And yes, they are coming. So I think this is a very difficult question because indeed we don't know. We really don't know how AI will impact and reshape our society, and the scare, uncertainty, or excitement, interesting, they make a lot of sense. But based on our human history, I think it will probably impact us more positively. For example, I remember back to when I was in junior school, if I use QQ, right? Everybody, Chinese knows that QQ. It's like MSN in a Chinese version. Like the parents will tell us, you don't make friends with people on the internet. They're dangerous. They're gonna hurt you. You don't tell them your real name. But think about what today we give all the banking information, our personal information, SSN, are all on the internet. Right? Because we went through that time. We were being told internet was dangerous. It will it's immoral. It's gonna hurt us. But now we are all relying on internet. So that's AI, and definitely it will bring negative side to our society, just like social media. I heard many teachers criticize kids using TikTok too much these days. But on the other hand, you know that social media is a powerful tool for public education and social engagement art because people can participate. That's how I understand AI. I do feel like because I am a digital media designer, so this is not confidential, but my daily life at Amazon is like we already started using AI to design. Because I give you this example, which is because I'm super busy every day. So if I can just working as an art director and giving people ideas. Not people, AI ideas. Can you help me to design this poster and this is my requirement and can you please follow it? If AI can simplify my workload and it can help me to work more effectively, then it's good. But however, am I scared? I am scared. I also worry technology and AI will replace me. But like what I said, we focus on our value. The value is creative, right? So we can focus on what I just mentioned, the contemporary art, the concept. We can give our concept and instruction to the AI. We can treat them as production designer. We invite them to help us to complete our work so we all can work more freely. And also, I also heard someone share this prediction with me. This may sound ridiculous, but I want to share with you guys. But if you think it's ridiculous, please forget it tonight. Right? So eventually, we all, in this utopia world, hopefully eventually we will live in this utopia world. Everyone is equal, everyone can speak freely, so we all can enjoy our lives. And then we rely on technology to help us to perform our daily tasks and responsibility. And then we all can just like stay at home and enjoy entertainment and create art.
Oh, jeez, I don't know.
You already forgot the question.
Yeah, I'm scared of AI in some way. I guess I mentioned, like, I think Elon Musk just made this robot in real time is speaking, but I haven't seen it like take some clay and make something. But it's probably going to happen, at some point. But I don't know. I think there's something about, like, I love what you said about I make my design work, but I make my work just for me. I think that's really powerful, and I really love the energy in your work and your mark. And there's something there that I can't quantify. I'm sure we can put some, algorithmic things on it and like pinpoint, certain behaviors and qualities and colors, and maybe make a loose replication through AI. But I still would prefer to see yours. I think there's something to it that I really admire. And I think they're like the humanness, the body, the biological, the facture. Yeah, of course, there's going to be like Neuralink and all these other biological kind of interventions. I think that's going to be the most scary moment for us. They're here.
Okay, we've come to the end of our panel session, and let's give a round of applause to our panelists. Let's take a picture together. Our photographer is our photographer. Yeah, let's take a group picture, and thank you all for coming. And later we still have a QR code, and I hope all of you guys can